in terms of Irvine, like what do you enjoy about Irvine, the city?
Well, what makes Irvine a little different, especially for us, is the part we're living in Irvine kind of feels a little downtown feel, which is, the kids don't like it. They want to be more urban or rural, whatever. But for us, it's definitely nicer to have these, commercial, clean, tall buildings around it, but still have walking paths and stuff, and still have, clean feel and a quieter feel. I know some people might say Irvine might be boring or not a lot to do or whatever, but for us as older people is perfect. So yeah, so I would say as it felt very almost like we were in another country in the sense of like so different on cultures and so different on styling because we were used to a whole different style, but it felt really perfect for us. It felt very very unique, but yeah, calm, easygoing, felt really great. So for us it worked. For the kids not so much, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Irvine is kind of like its own little bubble. It's really interesting within Southern California. When you visit, because everything is very well planned and like to the T, like
Yes.
to the T, like where you're like, wow, like this is like really this. They thought about the city like quite a
Oh
bit
yeah.
before they like laid down anything, any roads, even probably like,
No, it's so
uh,
amazing to be in downtown, but yet you can walk through hills and valleys and areas to get all the way up a mountain from downtown area by walking, right? Or biking or whatever. Like that's really hard to do in a regular city. Normally cities get built in by buildings. You go to like San Francisco, squished in by buildings. You go to LA, a lot of squished in by buildings.
yep.
So yeah, no, it's the most comfortable downtown rural possibility.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It is a unique city, no doubt. I like the city. I'm not sure if I could live there, but I like visiting.
That's
It's
what
like,
most people say. Is I'm not
like
sure they can live there, but definitely. And I think if I was younger, it'd be a little bit less adaptable. One, the higher cost, but then also two, every time you want to go do some things, you probably have to go to another city if it's like karaoke or go out to watch a concert or go like. But here, y'all cities are so squished in that it literally like it takes 2 hours for us to drive to another big city. And that's not even a huge city when we're in Texas. Here in
mm,
2 hours, I could drive through like 20 or 30 cities,
yeah,
So for us, it seems like, hey, even though we live in Irvine, we're in all of the Orange County areas at once. I mean, even getting to Long Beach or LA is not even that huge of a deal. Driving an hour and a half, even though traffic can make it tough, it's not that big of a deal to just go watch a concert or something. But I think if I lived here, it would have felt like a bigger deal. I remember as a kid, my mom would complain so much about the traffic and stuff. We'd literally go nowhere,
mm,
we'd stay in San Pedro the whole time, right? So, but it's not that bad moving back to here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, and I guess like what would you recommend if they're thinking about moving from Texas back to California, or not, or just in general, they're like, they're thinking about coming over to the state, I guess.
Well, yeah, yeah, and in regards, let's go two different ways. So one thing a lot of people look at, even just from the cost of living in Texas and California, they might say, oh, it's just too expensive or too hard to do. I would say it's not quite that same, at least for where we were at. So in South Texas, when you say own a home there, the property taxes are about 3 times the expenses they are here. So obviously you might have state taxes here and they might not have any state taxes there, but those property taxes are triple the cost. Also, the homeowners insurance there where we lived, it's 5 times more expensive than it is here. So literally, if I owned a $300,000 home in South Texas, my payment might be, the equivalent of owning, let's say, an $800,000 home in California. So even though the prices seem drastically different, the monthly payment isn't drastically different. So it's not hugely different to go. And for example, the apartment that I live in, the utility bills and the water bills are so low compared to what we were paying in Texas. Like literally, our home was $1,000 a month just in utilities and water.
Hmm,
So here it's more like less than $200 a month.
hmm,
So although I know the gas is more expensive, some of the food's more expensive, there's a lot of stuff that's more expensive. It isn't actually that much harder to live financially than the
hmm,
two. So then you just got to ask yourself what's more important. So for us, for example, if it's more important to be in your home
hmm,
and you don't need to work at a job per se, you work from home, you can live at home and you can do what you want from your home. then Texas would probably still be a play. I can get a larger piece of land, I can farm, I can do whatever, right? But if you are in a style to where you want to spend more of your time outdoors or be able to go to concerts or go to events or be involved in community or work a regular job that's going to pay you decently, you'd almost have to be in California because the pay offers for me to move to Austin versus Irvine before we made the move, I got offered like 2.5 times more to get to live in Irvine,
Mm,
doing a job I had less experience for than what I've been doing most of the last 20 years. Because in Texas, the pay is really low
mhm,
overall, even for being an expert or something in your field. So if you're going to work for somebody, otherwise, other than medical, maybe, it's really difficult to survive in that environment. You may say the bills are less, but the jobs that pay you or want you pay less, and
mhm,
it's harder to keep those jobs here. They have a lot higher pay per se, and if you really look at it, I actually make a little less now than I did when I was in South Texas, mainly because I haven't been here as long. But I actually live better than I did there. Financially, I'm actually in a better position the last year than I was most of the time I was there.
If you like what you're hearing so far, check out the full episode right here.